and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View this morning. It is Saturday morning. It's a live rather than the normal type of video. I just check the audio because it's a bit loud. Audio capture, filters. Let's turn the gain down a little bit. There we go. Perfect. Audio's way better. Right, who is all online this morning? There are a few people online. We'll get into the news in a second. Pork Chops is in the house. Paul Emery is in the house. Good morning. Pork Chops is here. Hill Baz. James Bentley's in the house. Hill boys and girls. Morning, Baz. Come on, Hoops. Sandwich Boy is in the house. Also, right, let's get into the Celtic news this morning because, well, let's talk about last night. Obviously, the good news is one of the Lawwells has gone. Chris Sutton has taken umbrage to the fact that he had to go. He had to go. He had to leave Celtic because, let's face it, the last transfer window was an absolute disaster. The head of first-team recruitment left the club in the wake of the criticism over recent transfer business. Now, that criticism even came from his father, Peter Lawwell. Chris Sutton insists Mark Lawwell had to fall on his sword for the failure of the last two transfer windows. Peter Lawwell obviously had a dig at him. Joe Dudgeon, it said that the pair were a way to pursue fresh challenges. That's bullshit from Celtic. And I'm going to tell you why. Because Mark Lawwell had been in his job before at the City Group for over 10 or 12 years. You don't leave a job after 10 or 12 years if you're not doing something right. Chris Sutton was absolutely livid when we signed Adam Ida. He thought it was a poor signing by Celtic. He thought Celtic should have went out and spent more money on ready-made strikers in the Premier League. Two that we could mention, the one from Aberdeen and the one from Hearts. He thought that Celtic should have went out and bought them. Simple as that. He should have went out and bought them just to make sure that we did go out and win this league. But the recruitment team, and I did get told a couple of weeks ago, I did say that I would tell you some news about what went on at Christmas. Brendan Rodgers was offered 7 players in total at the last transfer window. He said no to 5 of them. He said no to 5 players. That shows you the level of the player that Mark Lawwell and his sidekick must have been offering the manager. And the manager's turned around and went, not a chance. Not a chance. They're not good enough. They're not good enough for Celtic. They're not what we want to do. And they're not good enough. And that is it. I did say I felt there's been some kind of power struggle going on in the background. And it turns out we were correct. There has been a power struggle. There's been Brendan Rodgers wanting the best for Celtic. And this nonsense that Brendan Rodgers is just here for the cash. And that this solidifies the fact Brendan Rodgers will not be leaving Celtic this summer. Mark my words. All the Brendan haters that are out there that saying Brendan must go, and I've said it for a while, Brendan Rodgers will not leave the club this summer. The fact that he's got rid of the two in the recruitment department suggests that the owners are backing Brendan to the hilt. And now, to the next bit I want to talk about, the funny bit, because it's always good when you switch on and you come on and you see some of the comments. And it's fantastic that we get so many Sevconians, the Rangers fans, coming onto the channel and commenting when we're not live and stuff. And they leave comments. And one of them was like, he's jumping before the shank gun wet man. Man, he's jumping before the shank. Remember a few years ago, it was like a pack of cards. They'll fall like a pack of cards. And what happened? Yeah, we went on to win a double, and then we went on to win a treble. Now, if that's falling like a pack of cards, one then gives it, as they say. One then gives it. So Rangers fans, I know you'll watch this. Thank you for comment. And so much for falling like a pack of cards. We went on to win a double, then a treble. And jumping from a sinking ship. Really? Come back and talk to me in May. Anyway, right, let's get back to the big Chris Sutton, because Chris Sutton was having a big dig at the son of the chairman, Peter Lawwell, Mark Lawwell, and Joe Dudgeon. The pair left Celtic to pursue fresh challenges. Chris Sutton believes that the pair carried the can for the blunders in the transfer market. Of course they did. That's their department, Chris. That is their department. It is their job to go out and get the best players for Brendan Rodgers. Brendan Rodgers will tell them what positions he needs filled, and it's up to them to go out and get the best possible for Brendan. And Brendan probably went, I could write their names on the back of a fag packet and go out and get better players than what you are getting. Anyway, Celtic do play catch up in the title race by going into the home straight by 2 points and 1 goal. There's only 1 goal in it. So let them party and think that they're whatever. The question is who's to blame for January? When it comes down to it, Mark Lawwell leaving to pursue other opportunities. The sword has fallen on Mark Lawwell. The power struggle is over. Just about. The Rebels have won. And it's a big time for Celtic now. It's a big, massive time. It's a time of opportunity and change once again. It's a time of opportunity and change once again for Celtic, because let's face it, we need to make sure that we get the players in that can take us to that next level. We can't go out and bring in project players. This is going to be a summer of change again at Celtic. It's going to be a summer of where players will leave. Will Matt O'Reilly leave? Will he get that big offer? Will Celtic sell him from the big offer? Will Rio Hatate leave? Will Kyogo Furiashi leave? When you look at it, that'll have been on 4 years at the club. And sometimes that's about it for a player like that. You know, sometimes it is time to move on because he doesn't fit a system, or you never know. You never know. But when you look at it, who does Celtic then go in to bring in for the recruitment team? Brendan Rodgers and, well, it's going to be down to the Nicholson, isn't it? He's going to have to sit down with Nicholson and bring in the best man for the job that understands the Celtic model, understands the business model, but has a wide range network of players that they can go out and tap into. I mean, Mark Lawwell, for coming through the City group, who had players all over the world on their books, he certainly did pick out some crap for us. It's not for Scotland. Our options are a few. I don't think that we really... Shitbaz just woke up, sorry, drinking last night. Martin, William is absolutely fine. Mikey Johnson goal the other day, for fuck's sake. How'd that not happen at Celtic? Let's leave... Look, why the Celtic fans always do this? They chase a player out the door, and then they go, why did they not do that at Celtic? Why did they not do that at Celtic? Forget about him. He's left. Carly, you're in the house. You're in a good mood this morning. No negativity from you today, please. Everything's been going fine and dandy. You know, we scored 7 goals in a game. We got rid of the Lawwells. I don't want to hear any negativity from you today. Let's get back to the comments. It's just 2 points, but the bigger picture is it's a 10-point swing. Paul, you can't say it's a 10-point swing. That doesn't matter now. It doesn't matter. What happened in the past does not matter. It's what happens in front of us. You can't go back and change time. You've not got a DeLorean. You've not fucking got grey hair and fucking like this. You know what I mean? Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. You can't change it. You can't change what's happened. Do you know what I mean? That's like saying, but maybe we could have won against Feyenoord in 1970 and 72. Fucking doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. What happens now is that we're finding form at the fantastic time of the season. We're on the home straight. We know it's in our hands. Now, they could come onto the channel and say, is it in your hands? We're top of the league. Exactly. You've got to play us twice. You haven't beat us twice this season. Even if you draw at your ground, right, takes it to 3, we can then still overleap you. And then we can win the league on goal difference. Simple as that. Get it up, guys. And Bob's your uncle, as they say. Hope we're on track. We are on track. As I said it before. We are on track. Anyway, back to the channel in question. Mark Lawwell has left Celtic. And the fact that there should be some collective responsibility, says Chris Sutton, when it comes to transfers from the recruitment team to the manager. But clearly something wasn't right. When it goes back to last summer, you look at the players coming in. Some of them clearly have not been fancied by Brendan Rodgers, and the spotlight has been put on the recruitment team. Even when every single Celtic fan out there, every single one of us, all knew last season we needed 4 additions to make the team better for the Champions League. No one expected us to go out and buy 9 players. Not one of us. Not one of us wanted to. No one expected us to buy 9 players. We didn't need 9 players. We needed to trim the fat off the squad. We needed to bring in players that were of a better quality, that were first team starters, to make us a bit more productive, a bit more competitive in the Champions League, and that never happened. So the sword had to fall. The sword had to fall on those two in question. And Chris Sutton says that. He says, initially it seems to be working out, but obviously a change in management has not been as smooth and they're not on the same page. Didn't see much of a problem with the recruitment under Ange Postecoglou, says Chris Sutton. Are you kidding, Chris? Look at some of the garbage that fucking Postecoglou brought in and sent away back. You know, not every signing was fantastic under Postecoglou. Let's not fucking sprinkle some fairy dust on it. The breakdown of the past two windows has put Peter Lawwell in a difficult position. Peter Lawwell had fuck all to do with the sacking of his son. Let's face facts. Peter Lawwell had fuck all to do with the sacking of his sons. That would have came down to Nicholson. It would have came down to our owner, and that is it. That is it. They would sit and they would know that Brendan Rodgers is not leaving the club. They would know that they have to do something when it comes to recruitment. They would have sat down with Brendan and said, look, what is it you're looking for in the recruitment team? And where does the breakdown seem to have came from? And then Brendan Rodgers is going to go, these two clowns are bringing in pure shite to me and I'm not playing them for Celtic. It's as simple as that. If you want Celtic to go backwards and if you want to manage decline, you're not doing it on my shift. Brendan Rodgers has stood ground with the board. Finally, he's got his big bahookies out and he's went, fucking no chance, mate, in his Irish accent. Anyway, Peter and Mark Lawwell have both come under fire after failing to build on last season's position of strength. They spent more than 20 million to replace treble heroes such as Jota, Carol Starfelt, and they brought in Gustav Lagerbielke and Rocky, and several impact development players. Anyway, the recruitment leadership team statement, Mark Lawwell and the first team scouting, Joe Dudgeon, lead the first team scouting positions to pursue fresh challenges. They're on fucking garden duty. They're on garden duty. They're still getting paid for the club until the end of the season. Which then asked the question, if they're on garden duty, can we bring in someone to replace their positions? Or is Celtic just going to take a hit in the wages? Stupid idiots with the board, not interested in an option to buy with either. Norwich now asking for 10 million. They will never get 10 million for Adam Ida. They're kidding on. That's all paper talk. That's all paper talk, Chilpel. Calm down. Moan the well, lol. Now let's get some of the comments this morning before we nip on to the next part of the video. He brought nothing to the table before this time that he left. Morning troops. What do you think will get replaced? I've no idea who will replace the Lawwell and the recruitment team. I've actually no idea. I mean, the Celtic are going to have to really sit there and think about this. And Peter Lawwell, not even Peter Lawwell, but I think it's a time of change again in the club. We needed a period of stability. We had a period of stability for 2 seasons under Ange. Ange's first season didn't go as planned, remember? Didn't go as planned. I mean, it took us to get it over the line in the first season. And and I'm going to say it. There's similarities to what happened to Ange in his first season and what's happening to Brendan. Anyway, swap Abada for Ida. Yes, definitely. If they're looking for a player to do a swap deal, get the wee Israeli down there. Meanwhile, Sidney Van Hooijdonk has played 3 and scored 0. Was he ever in the frame to come to Celtic? I don't believe it. Abada's off. Abada's not off for 3-5 million. Tamak, see these headlines. The initial headline, right? The initial story was Celtic want more. They want to recoup their 3.5 million. They're not selling them for 3.5 million. They want to recoup the 3.5. It's 3.5 million plus. Now, then you get headlines going out there and saying, Celtic want to sell Abada for 3.5 million. For fuck's sake. And then you get all the Neds going, oh, for fuck's sake, what's Celtic then, man? Fucking selling Abada for 3.5 million. That's fucking outrageous, man. It's not going to be 3.5 million. Not a chance in hell. I didn't want Abada to go. He spat the duck. Right, someone said this in the comments actually yesterday. Thinking back to Abada under Ange Postecoglou. Now, you remember when Near Bitten was at Celtic, he never pulled out a Champions League game. He never pulled out any squad due to his religion. Leo Labada done it 2 seasons in a row. Pulled out of games due to his religion. Abada's been fucking at it since day one. People forget about this. People only remember the good bits when he scores against Rangers, when he scores against this. He came off the wing and scored a fucking cracking goal. There's been a couple of times during the season, right, during the past couple of years, that he's pulled out because of his religion. Near Bitton never did that. There's no other Israeli Celtic player has ever pulled out due to his religion. Let's leave him. Anyway, he's away from Celtic. He's in the past. We're looking forward. Celtic are looking forward to a new bright dawn. A new bright dawn, get it on. Right, let's get back to the story. The next story I want to talk about is obviously it's all about Mark Lawwell this morning. There has to be some other news out there other than just the Mark Lawwell nonsense. Obviously, people are going on about Mikey Johnson, truth bomb from Brendan Rodgers that the winner was vindicated in West Brom revival. Leeds United and Leicester City could be visiting a Celtic player. And then we need to talk about the game tomorrow, really, shouldn't we? We should really talk about the game tomorrow. What time's it? 10:30. I've got around about 15 or so minutes left. Hearts. We go to Hearts tomorrow, and we've got a measly 500 odd tickets again. And there's a good few Celtic players that are, well, there's only one really, I would say a major doubt, and that would be our captain. But Hearts have got a few injury players also. Barry Mackay is out, obviously for Celtic. Rio Hatate is out. Peter Hearing is out for Hearts. And what is going on? People are still going on about James McCarthy being injured. Is James McCarthy even at Celtic? Is James McCarthy is he an enigma? Is he like the James? Is he like? Well, we all know James Forrest is real. But I'm actually starting to question whether McCarthy, maybe he's been. No, I can't say that. Oh, I was going to go for one. Oh, brilliant. Oh, my goodness. Let's get back on it. Oh, dear. I'm about to crack off there. Anyway, Boyce is out for Hearts, and Rocky is out for Celtic after his hamstring. But Hearts seem to have, and then they're saying that Leo Labada out. But Leo Labada is not injured. He's not going to be playing for Celtic again. It is as simple as that. That's the three main players that are injured for Celtic. Is obviously Rocky, Rio Hatate, and Callum McGregor. I think getting Callum McGregor. Oh, and there is breaking news this morning that I've seen. Where the hell is the story? There is breaking news that I did see this morning that Celtic are going to open talks with a player. Where is it? I've lost it. Oh, there we go. This is a story that kicked about yesterday afternoon. Now, I'm not sure how factual it is, but it could. Well, there probably is a good bit to this story because we look into it. The 18-year-old Daniel Kelly obviously scored the goal, a cracker of a goal in the 7-1 against Dundee. And Brendan Rodgers was over the moon that he scored it with his weaker foot. He did kind of slip into that midfield. You would never have thought with the stature of the young boy Kelly that he is only 18-year-old. But his contract runs out this summer. Celtic have now opened talks to keep the player on a fantastic new contract with the likes of, as suggested, Bayern Munich, RB Leipzig, and other clubs from England, allegedly looking at the player a bit to secure. And look, Kelly's not going anywhere, right? So this fucking talk in the papers, oh, he might sign for them, he's not going to go anywhere, right? He's a young lad that's been at Celtic since he's 8-year-old. He's not going to get 2 games for Celtic and then jump ship, right? He comes through, the way that I see him, he's a Kieran Tierney-esque. He's a James Forrest type of player. He's a Callum McGregor type of player. He loves Celtic. He knows his family and all his mates are Celtic fans. He's not going to leave at the end of this season. So don't worry. There's not going to be a chance of this guy leaving. It's not going to be a case of Ben Doak going to Liverpool. Ben Doak wanted to go to Liverpool because he's seen the lure of the big league and everything that came in that. He didn't believe that he had a route into the first team. When you look at the fact that he shares the same agent with Jeremy Frimpong, obviously Celtic are going to be linked with Bayer Leverkusen, and an initial transfer back in 2021, was it? When Leverkusen spent a big chunk of cash on Frimpong, and then Frimpong is on the verge of a massive move this summer, and Celtic will get a big deal for that. But there's absolutely no Celtic are going to get this guy tied up, and he is definitely one for the future. He's going to be a fantastic player. So if there's any headlines come out, if there's any negative headlines saying that he's going to leave, just brush them aside because you know it's just all paper talk. John McGinn, well, yeah, John McGinn is far too expensive for Celtic these days. Anyway, let's jump into some of the comment section because we have been on for 20 odd minutes now. I wasn't going to be on for 20 minutes. I was only going to be on for 15. Let's go through back to some of the comments. Abada's mentality, check out. He has that, Jason. And Carly is feeling it for poor Leela Abada. Baz, you sound like my brother, says Peter. Wow, when I talk like that, man, I can't do it for much longer. Like, it's the zombies out there, man. That's what they come onto the channel on soon, like, man. Anyway, hello. About 2 minutes. Oh, we'll just dry it. Just telling me she needs to dry her hair. Is Calmac fit? We'll soon find out tomorrow. He did have a couple of days extra training and rest and recuperation. So Brendan Rodgers did say if Calmac is fit. But it was interesting because when you watch the interview, he talked about Calmac and he says every season Calmac gets a little tightening of his Achilles and things like that. And he said he's had it for years. And he said it's just about managing his games at this time, managing them. So you'll probably see if we get into winning positions more often, you will see Calmac coming on off the field of play, which makes room for another young midfielder. And I'm telling you right now, this is a question for you to think about. Would you rather an 80% fit Rio Hatate coming back onto the pitch, or would you rather give the young boy Kelly a run to the end of the season? He came on, and for me, he's a fantastic, absolutely fantastic prospect. Right? If you're going to bring in prospects, get Daniel Kelly on the pitch, and make sure that he gets game time before the end of the season, because that's the future of the club. Rio Hatate is not the future of the club. Rio Hatate is not the future of the club. Let's be fair, and he's not fully fit. He's 3 or 4 weeks away before he's even going to get back. He might be back before the Rangers game at the start of next month. But would you put the young boy Kelly? You know, he's been in the team twice when Rocco Vata was dropped from the team. So Brendan Rodgers obviously fancies that he's a player. We've all seen that he's a player. And for me, I would play him towards the end of the season. I would bring him on as a second half sub between now and the end of the season. Forget about these big fancy names from abroad. Get a nice Daniel Son Kelly on the pitch. Daniel Kelly. He's the only Jew I like, says Carly. What are you talking about? Good morning all. Hope you have a wonderful weekend. Awata, Bernardo and O'Reilly in midfield tomorrow. Would you go with Bernardo? Would you not go with Kelly after his performance and after his goal? That's just a question I'm putting out there. It's just a question I'm putting out. I think it's good to ask these type of questions because it's not all about what my thoughts are. It's the one Celtic fans' view. And pure glory hunters, play Kelly. Coach Up says it's Abada that's done. Yeah, it is Abada. Avata with the attitude, and Kelly showing all the ability. Yes, Kelly's. I was like him because he's a young guy that's just he knows he's getting his chance. He knows he's getting his chance, and he's keeping his head down and getting on with it. He's not doing anything to upset the apple cart. Callum McGregor spoke highly of the player, saying that when he came up, I mean, you look at the stature of the guy. For an 18-year-old boy, he's not a wee skinny runt. You know what I mean? He's not a wee skinny runt that's going to get bullied off the park. He's going to give as good as what he gets. And I think it's going to be interesting. Kelly in the second half, definitely. I play Kelly over Hatate, said Richard. Remember when Celtic was producing the best young players in the league, says William. Those days will come back, William. Those days will come back. Leave it. Dave Vaz, young Kelly needs more development, says John. Where does he get the development from, John? No, not a chance. I'm not behaving. Right. We're spending £2 million, £3 million, £4 million on players that are 20-year-old and we're bringing them in. From project players. You've got an 18-year-old that's went, come on, lads, hold my pint or my sparkling water. Because that's what it is with youngsters these days. It's hold my sparkling water. Yeah, fucking, right, hold my sparkling water. Hold my sparkling water and then fucking opens the field like the Red Sea. Walks onto the pitch. Bosses and makes loads of room for himself. And you're saying he needs more development. Not a chance. If he's good enough, get him on the pitch. Look what happened to Ben Doak. He goes down to Liverpool, walks into the first team of Liverpool. Not a chance. Get him on the pitch. Get him on the pitch. Kelly, understand the minimums. Yeah, he does that. We will miss a bad away and see. Carly, you're wanting to get me wound up today. How will we miss a bada? He wasn't a starter. He wasn't a first team starter under Ange Postecoglou. He was an impact player. He was an impact player. That was it. He come on and scored goals as a sub. He was a super sub. So anyway, I like Abada, but his time's up, unfortunately, said Chilpole. Yes, it is that. And Porchop says, yes, but his head can't be in the right place just now. Put herself in his shoes. How would you react? It's your job. It's your job. Sometimes I have a stinking hangover and I've got to come on and do this. My job. I love it. Anyway, top of the morning, best fans in the world. Shut it. Fans. Carly. I better not say that something because all the fucking is it that time of the month? Anyway, on that note, fuck's sake, Abada spoiled rotten. Good luck to him. We've got a fantastic player. Spot on, Jim. You're all talking to yourselves. I think at this point of the video, it is time to wrap it up. We are going out for the day. I've been on for 27 minutes. Where did that come from? Anyway, on that note, have a fantastic day, Celtic fans, all around the world. And that's it. We're done. We're at 15,402. Thank you to everyone who has subscribed to the channel. Make sure you give it a thumbs up, and I shall see you on the next video. Will it be today? Saturday. There's nothing happening today. Might do one.